The little Toro story just got a whole lot worse. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Yesterday, Gunner and I were live, and I received a text, and it was right after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I clicked over, I looked at the text, and it was about Toro. And somebody had screenshot me the podcast statement from IG. And I immediately said, is this legit? And the guy told me, I'm looking into it. I'm sending some fillers out. 5 minutes later, Gunner and I both on a thread get the same information. And we ended the live and got on the phone, talked about it, and we made our videos. A little bit after we posted our videos, people started sending us the news clippings. And, in my video, I said that it was unfortunate that someone was put in a position to have to do this. And I'm not going to lie. I really thought it was going to be a Southerner or a Northerner. But it's worse than that. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard. I've already said it a couple times in the comments from yesterday's video. But this was a family dispute. At a little bit after 8 o'clock in the morning, just think about that. A little bit after 8 o'clock in the morning, deputies pulled up to a home in an unincorporated district of Concord, California, for a welfare check. And when they went in the house, they found the body. There were also 3 other family members that were injured. According to the newspaper or the news article, this thing started as a simple family dispute. And then it escalated into something horrible. Nobody wants to speculate on exact details, but I think that we probably have a good idea of what happened, right? Seeing the way Toro was more and more caught up in his psychosis, whatever his issue was, he was just getting deeper and deeper into it. We saw the video where he was mad at his grandpa, and then recently he was back at his grandpa's. And I can honestly tell you that I had a conversation with someone. This is before this happened. And we were talking about how little Toro needed to be hospitalized. That he was a ticking time bomb. And I can just, in my mind, envision he got caught up in the psychosis. He got into probably a manic, aggressive mindset. And his grandfather, who was taking him in, has kids. Those kids were probably worried about their dad. We've seen where Toro would, we saw when he socked the dude over the phone because the radiation from the phone All the while he was on a phone recording himself. We've seen when he was in LA, the way he was screaming into his phone, blood this, blood that. And the more he talked, the angrier he got. For the cops to be called to the home at 8 o'clock in the morning. Who knows what time the dispute started. And when I said that whoever committed this act has a family that will be victimized, the victim and the perpetrator were from the same damn family. It's a shame that this happened. You know, I have to keep it real. I was not a fan of Toro. I wasn't a fan of his. Right? I don't have, I don't know. I just, this thing, I can't wrap my head around how I'm sure, I feel positive that the family's anger is going to be directed not towards the person who ended the life of Toro, but to Toro himself. I've done several videos lately on mental health. You know, California has, it's been decades now. They went more away from sending people to state hospitals, and instead we're sending them to state prisons. And I talked about how when they go to the level 4 yards, they wind up being victims. They don't know what the hell they're doing. And people say, well, how can people act out like that? But they know what the hell they're doing. When they come out of it, they do. When they're in it, they're not seeing what you and I see. They're wrapped up in some other vision and some other reality, altered state. I don't understand. And like I said, I had this conversation with someone the other day and was like, this dude, somebody in his family, and that's what we're talking about. Somebody in his family needs to get this dude like help. Like he needs to get in a lockdown psychiatric facility. It's you know, you know, I've been around a lot of violence, but you know, I've never, lately there's so much senseless violence. Murder itself is senseless. I say it, I will always say it, it's senseless. When you take a life in defense of your family or your home, that's different. But lately, it just seems like there's so many senseless unalivings. You know, and people don't like when that I use the word unaliving, and it's for a reason. With this platform, you have to be careful with the words you're using. But this is such a serious, tragic thing that's going on in our country. People that need, I did the story of, what is it, 2 or 3 months ago. The veteran who was suffering with severe PTSD, and he wound up ending the lives of his daughters. And I said in that video, something needs to be done. People with known mental health issues that have exhibited the propensity for violence, they need to be removed from society and placed somewhere where they can get help. The problem that I've always heard about is these people, they will get on their medication, and then when they get their mind right, they start thinking they don't need it anymore. And that's where the problem happens. I don't have an answer. I don't have an idea. But there are people who have spent years and years in school studying this topic. We need the brightest minds in that field to come up with a plan and implement it as soon as possible. You know, when people are struggling financially, a lot of people turn to something, whether it be a substance, whether it be alcohol, and that only makes things worse. I think families, you know, there's people that they don't know who little Toro is, but they may have somebody in their family who's struggling with mental health issues. And so hopefully you see this video and you really, really evaluate that person in your life who may need help. I think it's up to us to write our city council people, our state senator, our assembly person, and tell them that mental health needs to be a priority. I don't know how severe the other injuries were in that home. In my mind, I think people were being injured trying to stop the incident. In my mind, you know, it's all going to come out. But in my mind, somebody was thinking they were helping someone else in the home, saw Toro as a threat, and in the process of the whole scuffle, I mean, who knows? I could be completely off. But whether I'm right or I'm wrong, that family is going to go through some stuff. They went through stuff for a long time, seeing their family member deteriorate mentally, become hostile physically. Now that is not going to be an issue. The issue is going to be the family member who stood up to Toro. I hope this guy gets a fair shake, whatever it is, right or wrong. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.